Am I recorded? Here we go. Hey everybody, Economic Ninja here. I'm with Neil McCoy Ward, and I wanted to talk about something that he's got a lot of experience in, and that's changing your mindset from a poverty mentality to a wealth type of mode. Neil, we were talking the other day about somebody that asked for a $9 refund on a $10 course on how to start a corporation. And we were talking about mindset, and I know you've taught a course on this, and you're really big on changing your mindset. You come from quite a background, and you've had to fight a lot to get where you were.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that and why you think it's so important for people to start changing their mindset and forcing that change?
Yeah, of course. Well, just to give a very short, not a 1 hour long story here, but I didn't grow up with any money at all. So I think what happens is, what tends to happen is there's one or two ways people go. They either get bitter and they follow the footsteps of, whoever is their mentor or whatever, family member or parents, or, because some people don't grow up with parents, and they might come from a broken home.
Yeah.
They either go one way and they get bitter and they don't really do anything, or they get like I did, and I was like, okay, if I want anything in my life, I have to do it myself. There's no one coming to rescue me. It's all on me.
Yeah.
So I took that approach, and I was just doing stuff when I was young, just trying to figure stuff out. And the challenge for me came though, and this shows you can overcome anything. When I left school at 16, no qualifications, nothing.
Yeah.
There was no options for jobs. There was nothing I could do.
Yeah.
I could work in a factory and on an assembly line or something, but that was about it. So instead, I went to the army, and I did that for 10 years, and that's where I really excelled, because I could learn, as much as possible in the army.
Yeah.
And they educate, they pay for your education and a lot of other stuff like that. So I did it that way, and then I used that as a platform to then start working on things. But coming back to your point, okay, so mindset then. The mindset is so important.
Yeah.
Because if you don't change your mindset, then forget about it. I know people who come to me, even today, and say about, I earn all this money, but I can't keep it. People who earn millions, right?
Yep.
I earn all this money, but I can't keep it. It just seems to flow out my fingers. You hear this all the time, flow out my fingers. That's because people, without knowing it, money is energy in motion. It's a currency, it's a resource, and it flows to us, flows through us, and then what we do with it is our sort of responsibility as a custodian of that money, of that finance, of that wealth. So that's why you hear that all the time. So changing your mindset is absolutely crucial. And I still do this today. People say, why do you keep working on your mindset all the time?
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you stay at that level.
Okay, so that's a great segue into this question.
Yeah.
Did you grow up, I'm assuming the answer is no, but did you grow up with a lot of mentors in money, or did you have friends that were successful?
Zero.
So,
no, I didn't know anyone that was successful.
So people ask this all the time, because they're like, I wish I had someone to hang out with like you, Ninja, or I wish I had friends that were into this. I had to go and find friends that were into investing, were into thinking differently, wanting to be successful.
Yeah.
Did you find that before YouTube, or was it after?
I think it was just before.
Okay.
But I just wanted to say, as we're walking around here, right? Yeah. This is a beautiful city.
Sorry,
all I see is opportunity.
Yeah.
But I can see what people have become numb to, and that's all the graffiti. Look at all the graffiti.
Oh,
look
it's
at
disgusting. Where are we?
Look at all the buildings that
up
are just
top high.
People letting them go.
Yeah, you could see the graffiti like super high. All these incredible buildings, and you know what's crazy? It almost just takes a coat of paint in some instance.
Yeah, there's opportunity everywhere, but people haven't trained their mind to see it. Like in front there, look at that beautiful building covered in tile.
We're going to walk by that in a second. Or actually, I could probably show it to you.
Yeah.
So let's see here. We'll get in the street. So this is a perfect example, right? What 2 days of pressure washing will do, right? Because the camera's going that way.
Okay.
And even these doors, how they haven't been painted forever, and there are businesses in these. But if they would have just cleaned up the outside, do you know how many more people would be attracted to that structure?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a good point, and that's mindset.
So I'll give you another example of what I do right now, because I invest in loads of different things, but I buy the properties that other people don't want, the real estate, and I have a 3-prong approach. So you buy it under value for a start. So what you would say in the UK, BMV, below market value.
Yeah.
You get under market value. You then renovate it to add value.
Gotcha.
Right? And then you need to get a strong return on it. So you've got to do all three things at the start to figure out.
Okay.
So I'm not looking for, 3%, 4%. No, I'm looking for 10 to 15% return annually. Plus, and this is what people don't ever factor in when they're buying real estate or property. They go, I'm going to get 6% a year. No, you're not, because real estate in certain areas has been going up 10% on average per year.
Yeah.
So you're actually getting 16% per year.
That's a good point.
Right?
Yeah.
And people don't think of that, and they say, my did 10% this year, is better than real estate. Not necessarily. You've got to be diversified. It's not just about being in one asset class.
It gave me an idea about cars. So after I made my first million when I was in my 20s, my early 30s, I bought an old Honda Civic.
Yeah.
I used to drive it around, and the guys used to make fun of me because I would say, I'm making money every time I turn that car on.
Yeah.
And because I'm saving money, right?
Yeah,
All these guys had expensive trucks that they couldn't afford. The gas cost more than the payment on my car if it was new. It's crazy. Well, they used to take quarters and dimes and throw them next to the muffler and joke around. And it's funny, I would actually walk out to the car and I would go, they're making fun of me again. And I would pick that change up. And I remember one day taking that change and going and buying a silver dime. Oh. And my mindset was always, every time I drive my car, I'm making money because I'm saving it, right?
Yeah.
And then I started taking that money I was saving and investing it. And I was turning around and...
this lady's like... she's like absolutely mesmerized by this camera because she's never seen.
She was going to look into it like a fish.
No, because I've never seen a camera like that.
Oh, you haven't?
No, so she was.
What camera?
She was just.
Wait, what camera? I don't know what camera. There's a person on the other end.
Mesmerized.
I've got a 4-year-old holding a camera out in front of us. They can't tell. All right, anyway, so people love that, the camera thing. Yeah. My hand's freakishly small also. Just, I have one hand that's big and one hand that's very small. You'll see. All right, so you'll see when I show you the video.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I turned that mindset now into not only saving money, now I'm making money because I invested that money.
Yeah.
Let's get out of the way before we get run over by this car right here.
Okay.
So now, let me ask you this, and this is really important for people to understand, because there are a lot of people without hope, and it was my prayer that I would meet great men that would help me on my journey to financial prosperity, freedom, all that stuff, but also my mindset. And now you and I get to experience that. We get to hang out in different parts of the world. We have other friends like Bravo and other people that we've met on this journey because we actually took that step out. We stepped out and did something we weren't. Let me ask you this, were you really comfortable going online the first time?
No one is.
Yeah, and that was a big risk, right, for you?
Yeah.
But how's that paid off?
Oh, massive. I mean, it's one of the best things that people can do is to get an online social media presence. Yep. It's free.
Exactly. I don't think it's going to be free much longer.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a pretty costly thing one of these days.
Yeah.
Because the social media companies are starting to get it,
Yeah. It's great.
What about how much... Let me ask you this. If you're having a hard time, what would be your advice to someone if you're having a hard time finding a mentor or finding a friend that's into money, what would be your advice on how to find that?
Man,
because I've got my idea.
Yeah, it's always tough to find that mentor. It is tough. It's not easy. But you can find these people through different organizations. So through the church, for example, if you have faith or whatever your faith is. But for example, for me and Travis, it would be, say, through the church, we might find someone like that. And that's another point people don't talk about. We always give glory to God for what He's bestowed upon us, right?
100%, yes.
Right? So that's another aspect of money and wealth is being grateful for what we have, right? But the mentors you can find... No, go ahead.
Yeah, because I'm going to add to that. So we reap what we sow, right?
Yeah.
We've talked about tithe and how much we believe in it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing when people are really upset, like, I wish I had somebody in my life, I wish I had a friend that was into the same things. It's like, well, then So why don't you become that person for someone else and then go, okay, Lord, now I need it. I need to be taking that next level. And I believe by you spending time with other people and not letting people drag you down, because that happens a lot.
Yeah.
But going and sowing into other people's lives, being a mentor and a friend, that God will bring you people to bring you up.
It's interesting because I went to a event this summer, and it was the top Christian business people.
Yeah.
And these guys have got and women got so much money that are like, you know what? And they were telling me, Neil, I earn so much money that I have my tithe account, and I'm just sowing into young people and people who have got ideas but they don't really know what to do.
Yeah.
I was like, oh wow, that's great. And they said, actually, what you mentioned about my course, they were like, we're just going to buy your course and give it to them. And I said, oh wow, great.
That'd be incredible.
That's useful. Thank you for that. But yeah, you can find mentors there.
Yeah.
There's also
I'm going next year, by the way.
Okay.
I'm going to.
Yeah, I'll get you a ticket.
Yes.
So you can also though find mentors in a different way. I don't always recommend this, but you can pay for these, you know, sort of those sort of mentors who how do we describe it? They're the sort of stage speakers and all that. The only issue I have with that is that there's usually the heart's not in the right place.
Yes.
It's based on wanting to make a ton of money.
Yep.
So I've never really done that myself. I've always got my mentors from other places. But you know, I always think the best place you can get a mentor, even for free, is some of the greatest books ever written, because it's condensed knowledge, like Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, the Master Key System, you've got The Science of Getting Rich, you've got all these books that were written 100, some of them 200 years ago. It's their condensed knowledge in a book that you can do for free. I mean, it's crazy.
That they spent hundreds and hundreds of hours on.
Yeah.
And it costs nothing. It's like $13 to go buy that book.
Yeah, or even if people have got zero right now watching this, a PDF you can download.
It's so true. You can go to the library.
You can go to the library.
There are zero excuses in life.
Yeah.
That's what's insane. Like Neil said, think about this.
Yeah.
Social media presence, it's free.
Yeah.
Going to download a PDF or information off the internet, it's free.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people watch our channels, and I, especially before I started YouTube, I don't watch a lot of YouTube anymore.
Yeah.
But I used to spend a lot of time watching people that I looked up to. And that was exciting, and that's what brought me to where I am today.
Yeah.
So really in closing, I just want to tell you that, see, me and Neil, iron sharpens iron. I really believe that. And that's why I flew across the country or across the world to come and talk to him to do this interview, because it's so valuable when me and him sit down and get into a quiet spot. And we're going to do that later today, where we're going to really consider what we're doing in our businesses and our companies. And I personally want to increase my company 5 times in 2025. And me and Neil both agree that 2025 is nothing but prosperity.
Yeah, it's prosperity.
Yeah.
It is. There's a big change now, especially under this new presidency. There's going to be such a change, because we've gone from this tax sort of approach to things, and a lot of wastage. And we're now seeing a lot more efficiency coming in. We're seeing taxes lowered. When you lower the taxes, even though people don't like this, right?
Yeah.
You lower the corporation taxes, it spurs growth. You're going to see the stock market go. You're going to see now the stock market is kind of overvalued right now, so I don't want to talk too much into it. But just the tax savings alone for some of the companies and things, you could see that added 15% to the S&P over the next few years.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of growth coming, and people's mindset are starting to shift as well.
Yep.
Even though there's a lot of problems out there, recessionary in depressionary in nature.
Yeah.
You're always going to see prosperity in any market.
Yeah.
You've just got to find that marketplace, and you do that, and you're good.
Do you want to, in closing, tell them about what you almost sent the lady through the roof about last night?
Sent a lady.
So we're leaving dinner, and a lady's there, and she said she's from America, and she's from DC. And so what happened?
I'd had some port at that point.
Well,
so
yeah, but I wasn't going to bring up that part. What I was going to bring up, she goes, "Oh my gosh, it's the worst time ever. This is insane." Then we find out she actually worked for K-pop's campaign.
Yeah.
I mean, she was really in it. Like, even at a certain point, Neil's like, "Oh man, like you're really diehard." And so he starts getting her spinning. But she goes, one thing, she goes, "He's going to raise the taxes." And I go, whoa, no, that's absolutely not true. And she goes, "Yeah, he's going to raise them for the rich." And I go, "Oh, that's okay." So, and I told her facts. And how cool is it? In a calm voice, you watched her calm down immediately. She looked, and all I was doing was gently telling her facts. And I said, "This is absolutely amazing what's coming down." And she calmed down. And for a brief second, I had hope that there somebody on the total polar opposite side of you and I, but then you just started getting her fired up again.
Well, I like to challenge.
You definitely
people.
do. Well, hey, Neil, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Everyone, please, obviously follow Neil. I'm sure you already do. But start changing your mindset. And it's a forced issue sometimes. You just got to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Neil. All right, guys. Economic Ninja.
All right.
Out.